What's up, Nom Nommers? For today's video, we are traveling to the city of Omashu to try a real Earth Nation delicacy. With a nutty crust and a smooth, silky center, it's no wonder that Aang loves these so much. So what are we making? Aang's favorite egg tarts. Let's dig in. First, I toasted some white sesame seeds. I hadn't done this before, but it was the easiest thing in the world to do, and they were so delicious. Way better than the store-bought brands. With the seeds toasted and cooled, I could start working on the crust. The recipe calls for all-purpose flour, barley flour, and hazelnut flour. Those last two can be expensive and hard to find, so I used AP flour instead of the barley, and almond flour instead of hazelnut. Next, I added my toasted sesame seeds, sugar, cornstarch, and salt, before giving it a quick mix to get everything combined. Then I added my cold butter I cubed earlier and let the mixer go until I had a coarse meal texture. Finally, I added cold water. I made sure to add this very gradually because you only want just enough water to bring everything together. Soggy dough does not make yummy crust. Once it started coming together, I took it out of the mixer, shaped it into a ball, wrapped it up, and let it rest in the fridge for 30 minutes. When it was done resting, I rolled it out about 1/8 of an inch thick. I did this between parchment paper because it contains the mess and means less cleanup. Who doesn't love that? Then it was onto a sheet pan and into the fridge until I was ready to use it. Now it was time to work on the custard. In a small saucepan, I added my soy milk and cornstarch before whisking them together. Then I put it over low heat and cooked it until it just started to bubble around the edges. While that was happening, I worked on my eggs. In a medium bowl, I added 1 whole egg, 2 egg yolks, sugar, and salt. I whisked this until I had a pale yellow color. Adding the sugar to the eggs helps to keep the eggs from curdling. Eggs by themselves cook at a fairly low temperature, but adding the sugar means that the eggs will now cook, or curdle, at a higher temperature than before, giving you a better chance of success during tempering. Speaking of tempering, it was now time to pour in my hot liquid. Given how badly this went for me in one of my last videos, I did a bunch of research on how to properly temper eggs before filming this. Essentially, it boils down to 2 things. 1, don't stop whisking, and 2, add the hot liquid in very small increments. In all honesty, I was probably adding the hot liquid a bit too slowly, but I wasn't taking any chances. And that seemed to pay off because I didn't see any curdling at all. With the filling done, I quickly molded the crust into my tart shells and poured the custard in. The cookbook recommends using a strainer to help catch the bubbles. It definitely worked, and I only had a couple of large bubbles to contend with. I used a toothpick to pop those and then put the tarts into the oven to bake. I found that my custard took longer to bake than the recipe said it would. So if you're making this dish at home, don't blindly follow the time suggestions. When they were done baking, I removed them from the molds and let them cool. Now to see how they taste. Full disclosure, I haven't liked many of the egg tarts that I've had in the past, so I'm a little bit skeptical if I'm actually going to like these. Oh my gosh, this is so freaking good. The custard is amazing. It's silky and smooth and melts in your mouth when you eat it. And it's not overly eggy, it's got the right amount of sweetness. This is like probably one of the best desserts that I've made. The tart shell, it's not the star, but it is pretty dang good. There's a lot of butter, so it has this sort of shortbread feeling to it, and it's also got that roasted aftertaste that you get from those roasted sesame seeds. It's out of this world. The only thing that I don't love is that I only made 6, and now I have to have some degree of self-control to like not eat them all right now. Will I make this recipe again? 100%, I will absolutely make this recipe again. The only thing I'm changing is I want to try making like little tiny tarts because I want to be able to eat more in one sitting. Thank you so much for watching this recipe review. If you've made this dish before, let me know what you thought in the comments below. And as always, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to see more. Until next time.